watching, talking about. I'm still Cara Kilduff.
And I'm still Stormy.
Our next guest tonight is a psychologist and also an author, Dr. Jacqueline Simon Gunn. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Welcome back, I should say. I'm not liking this couch with everyone so far away.
She's not going to let go of the couch thing.
I can't. I'm just, but anyway, you've
What does
written
that say about her? I'm kidding.
I don't like to just jump in after one thing.
That's
but
right.
You could come see me, or we'll have tea.
Okay,
We'll figure
all
it
right.
out. I could piece
Well-
it together.
All right, jerk. So, Jackie,
Jackie.
I have a hard time with dropping the, because you worked hard for that. She's written another book. It's called Circle of Betrayal. It's a novel. Wait, the book before this that you came to talk about, that was nonfiction, right?
Right. This
is fiction.
This is my first novel.
Oh, it is?
Yes, I've written 4 nonfiction books. This is my 5th book, but it's my first fiction ever.
Okay, so full disclosure, I'm on chapter 10.
You're
Wait.
just at the good part.
I
mean,
know.
Sorry.
Oh, wait, can you give our audience a brief synopsis of the book?
It's hard. The description on the back is perfect because it's very hard to give a full synopsis of the book without giving away what's happened. But it's basically a story about a woman named Katie who falls in love with Noah Donovan. And Noah Donovan's riddled with dark secrets. And the beginning of the book is sort of like the evolution of their relationship and Katie unraveling into an obsessive love with Noah Donovan, almost like a fatal attraction. So she loves him, then she hates him, and eventually that evolves in her wanting to kill him. And I spent a lot of time on her thoughts because I was really interested in how someone unraveled. Like, how do people get to the point where they love someone and then kill them? So I spent a lot of time on her thinking how she gets there. But then sort of like maybe a third, there's, suggestions of it throughout the beginning, but maybe about 75 to 100 pages in the book, you realize that what you think is going on is not exactly what's going on, and there's a lot more to this story. And the characters have these like relationships between each other that you didn't know they had, and it's like one unfolding into the next, until finally what you have in the last third of the book is like who killed Noah Donovan, which by the way is not a spoiler because he's alive in the first half of the book, but he's going to be killed.
Oh, yeah.
So at the end, it's kind of like, who did it and why? Because I've given everyone a motive to kill him.
Yes, you have. And also, I like about what you've done with the main character, with Katie. You've made her a psychology student. And this was what I really liked about your other book when you were on the show before. It was interesting. She's a psychology student in a master's PhD program. And it's just interesting because you use all these terms and she's studying, I think, abnormal psychology in the book.
Forensic.
Yeah, that's right, forensic psychology. But you introduced a couple cases. And I really like that because she's understanding that what she's thinking isn't right. Or she's questioning it. And I have to say, though, there are parts in the beginning when I wanted to shake her and slap
her. A lot of
her.
people have said that.
Oh my gosh. It's just, wow. Like, I was losing my patience with her.
I don't know if there was any way to do that kind of story, though, with the inner dialogue. So, like, say when we see movies like Fatal Attraction and we see it visually on film, like, maybe we don't know what Alex Forrest, the Glenn Close character, is thinking, but that's what I was interested in. Like, what is she thinking? How do you have a character like that thinking these crazy thoughts and not want to shake them, like, and say, just get out. It's that simple, leave. I mean, because they can't. That's the whole point.
Well, that's the other thing, too, that was frustrating to read about, because she's talking to her friends about, what do I do? And her friends are saying, leave him now, get out of the relationship now. And she's like, oh, but I can't. And that makes me want to shake her, but then...
and I can respect that sentiment. We've all had friends that have fallen for someone that they shouldn't, and and it's always usually, and it's frustrating. But until you've been in a situation like that, it's completely different than being the person on the other side telling the friend not to. People can be amazingly manipulative, and I don't know.
It's crazy though. I mean, And there was one concept that she's studying. I can't pronounce it. The one where there's the build up to
catathymia.
Yes.
So this is like the part, I mean, there's been a number of things that inspired the writing of the book, but my background is in forensic psychology. I'm nothing like Katie Carlisle other than the pieces of an author that go into every character. Even part of me has to be Noah Donovan, which is awful to think of because I just can't. There was one point, which you didn't get up to in the book, I was like, man, if one of the characters doesn't do him in, I'm gonna kill him myself. You know, even though I was, because but like I just, that kind of man.
Yeah.
Or woman, it could be just, but so, I studied forensic psychology at John Jay College, and then my doctorate is a specialty in forensic psychology. And when you get to the end and the afterward, I go into this. I had wanted to be a criminal profiler, and my original intention was to be in the FBI and work for behavioral science.
That is
But
so
then
cool.
I know, but then eventually I was like, when I learned more about it, it was definitely not the right fit. I mean, because you have to be an agent in the field. I'm an anxious person. I probably wouldn't have even gotten in. I probably, quite honestly, wouldn't have passed the psychiatric because I'm just the type they'd send in as a decoy and I'd blow it. You know what I mean? So, and a couple of my professors were like, I think you should go for your doctorate. You know, I think you're smart and you could like really contribute to the field academically. And so I went in that direction and I worked in corrections and I've worked with murderers and rapists and all kinds of, and I did a lot of research, and that's where the catathymia comes in, because catathymia is a concept that was written in 1937 in forensic psychology, and no one paid any attention to it. Like, I was interested in it, and I wrote papers on it.
Though.
It explains so many of these like build-ups. So it's like, okay, there's an incubation period. I love this person, but there's like this percolating rage that runs simultaneous to the love. It's like literally love and hate together. So it's like the person has this burning need and desire, and at the same time they want to kill him. And it builds up and then it explodes. And then afterward they feel relief because it was the only way they can get rid of it. You'll see it unfold in the book. I'm just not going to tell you by who, but I added that concept to run parallel so that the reader kind of understands this is what we're looking at. I don't know, I guess it was my dose, that was the narrator dose of like, let me give you psychology.
No, I like that because in your other book too, I mean, that was nonfiction, but I like learning about that stuff. And so you introducing it in this, it was like, oh, okay. I was really interested. I'm like, oh, man, go back to school for psychology. You know, it was just really interesting. And just the fact that she's so accomplished and then falls for this.
I mean, I tried in the second chapter because when Carlo edited it for me, so when I sent him the book, he was like, "Oh no, like you need to be," because in the first draft of the book, she was worse, and he said you need, like, I think what happened in the first draft of the book is I didn't give enough background of like how it happened, and so he was sort of like, here she's this strong. I wanted her to be normal. I wanted her to start out normal and then unravel, because I didn't want people to think that someone has to be mentally ill for this to happen, because I think it can happen to anyone, right? It's like this really just specific combinations of factors like feeding into it, and then there's like this explosion. So, but what I didn't do was show how she went from normal to unraveled. So in the second chapter, I tried to get into her head. And so like what we see is these reasons why she fell for Noah Donovan, and some of it didn't have to do with him, some of it had to do where she was in her life. She's 35, she's single, and she's like sick of being alone, and she's been guarded her whole life, and he waltzes in and he really, you know, he twinkles when she talks and he really listens, and she falls for that. Unfortunately, what he was doing wasn't what she thought he was doing, and then by the time she realizes it, she's attached to him. And so I was trying to articulate that, but there was really no way to do what I was trying to do, which was explore the unraveling of a mind in an obsessive love situation without people wanting to slap the character. Because like, as you're reading it, you're saying to yourself, oh my gosh, right? Like, just get out, it's that simple. But if you had a friend like that, you'd be doing the same thing, but she can't. I mean, it's like an addiction. She literally can't. So
that was one of the sentences in there that she was addicted, like she knew it. Wait, the one friend, I don't like her.
Haley.
Yes, she's not nice. All right, so there's a section in the book where this Haley friend, she's like passive aggressive. Like she used to be a fat kid and like bad skin and da da da. Now she, like her parents paid for her to like have skin grafts and all this crap, and like nobody recognizes her, and she's so hot, and she has all these affairs, and she's got a husband who like totally adores her. I'm trying to give like total, Reader's Digest version. And so anyway, she's friends with the main character. There were 3 of them. They went to school together. But Haley finds out that she went to school with Noah Donovan and doesn't tell, she looks him up she like Googles his ass on the computer. She looks him up, doesn't tell Katie that 1, she went to school with him. 2, she's going to a therapist for couples therapy with her husband. He walks out. She's like, oh, doesn't tell her, what kind of friend is that? Doesn't tell her friend, like, pertinent information. Oh, she's not nice.
I mean, you're supposed to not like her, but she has a good story arc.
Okay.
I mean, the book, I literally at the point you're at the book is when it like really.
I know.
I'm sorry. I know when we're here talking about it, and I'm just taunting you with that.
No, because I'm gonna be like on the way home today, but it's like it's really getting good now. Like
Thanks.
It's a page turner, and your last book was a page turner. And wait, this is a first in a series, isn't it?
Yes, but it does have an ending. Actually, this book, when I wrote it, it was a standalone. I didn't know it was going to be a series, so it does. A few people were like, "Oh my gosh, I can't put it down." But does it have an ending? Because you know how it's like, okay, am I going to have to wait a year to find out?
Yes.
But it does.
Can you Netflix, like just drop like 3 books, boom.
Well, the second one is done. Carlo has it for editing. So I
really?
know what's going to happen, and I'm like 100 and something pages into the 3rd book. And the 2nd book and the 3rd book, I'm in the head of the murderer. So now you have someone unraveling, but it's, well, I don't want to say more.
Okay.
But it does,
You're just
it
gonna
is
have
part
to
of a
come back.
series, but it does have an ending. This was a standalone until I finished it, and then I realized there was so much more to the story. And so I just continued it. So readers will not be, I mean, I can't say because everyone wants something different, but I don't think readers will be upset with the ending, although people were furious at the ending of Gone Girl, and I was like, how is she supposed to end it? The book was like 600 pages, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe people wanted her to kill him. I don't know, but it just, so I don't know. I personally thought that I closed it up, but, or the best you can for a book like this, I close it up. But yeah, it is a series.
Really, the way you write, and I have to compliment you on this. Even in the other book too, I couldn't put it down. And this one, like, I was like, okay, I know I want to slap this character, but I'm going to stay with her. It's gonna get, I'm gonna not want to slap anyway. So I couldn't put it down.
Well, thank you. That's good. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what authors want, really, especially in a thriller. I think you can make it through like a drama. I've read dramas and enjoyed them, and even if they haven't had that pressure, because I felt invested in the character. But I think in a thriller there has to be an urgency of some kind.
Definitely.
So.
It's good because then he's got like a freaky relationship with his mother, and yeah, it's good.
The
It
mother
sounds like an
is the.
ex-boyfriend.
I know.
Well, we've all had one. I mean, I think Carlo's favorite character was the mother. Like
She's a piece of work, that one. Ooh, no.
All right. I think I'm gonna have to get this.
You are. You're gonna like it.
All right.
I'm gonna have to like set up. I have a blog now. I'll have to set up a place where people can private message me and tell me I had a Noah Donovan, because there's a place later in the book, I'm not giving any away, where Katie and Vanessa are in a conversation, and Vanessa's like, don't you remember Marcus, the screenplay writer I dated? Oh, you got up to that? And
Yes.
she's like, everyone has one Mark. Noah Donovan's yours.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, you're gonna dig it.
All right.
Where can people find out more
It's
about
on
you?
Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, the best place, I mean, I have a Facebook page. The book doesn't, because I have 3 book Facebook pages. I mean, it's like,
gets out of hand.
Yeah, so my Amazon page is really well done. I have all my books up there. My blog now is set up and it goes through, so if people are interested in what I'm blogging about, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I mean, it's like the blog just started, and it's like everyone today, if you guys have any suggestions, everyone today is like brand. I am the anti-brand. I have absolutely no
thank
brand,
you.
so I can't organize my blog. I have a book out on running, which is totally inspirational, and in this one, I'm getting in the head of people that are killing people. I mean, you know what I mean? And then then I do my clinical work. So I have one blog post that's about running and writing, and then one about written from Katie's perspective and how she was obsessed, and then a quote that's inspirational. So, but it's all there together in my non-branded brand. On my Jacqueline Simon Gunn Amazon page, and there's a link there for my blog if people wanted to follow that, and that's probably, or my Facebook page, Jacqueline Simon Gunn, is probably the best place to.
This is fantastic.
So,
Thank you so much for
yes,
joining us.
and if people want to contact me, Facebook message, or there's a place that people can contact me through the blog,
Okay.
because I know I've had a few people contact me, especially after Bear, with comments and questions and stuff like that. So.
That's cool. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
It was a
and you'll have
pleasure.
to let me know what
Oh,
you
I
think
will.
of the ending.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to steal your copy. And then when's the next one slated to come out? Any idea?
I think I'm May.
Fantastic.
May.
All right.
And
So we'll have to have you back in May.
yes, I'll come back in May.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the second one actually I think is better than. It might even be better than the first, only because after writing the first, I'm a better fiction writer. But I don't know.
Then we can really talk shit.
Okay. Well, it's like I have like 800 pages of text. At this point, I can't talk to anyone because I'm giving away.
Right.
I have no one to talk to.
Right.
Except my characters and my dead cat. It's crazy. All right,
the
I should leave
best.
now before I give.
Thank you
before I
so
say too
much.
All right, thanks for having me.
That's what I'm talking about, talking about, talking about.